From coast to coast, every culture, every angle. This is Arise America.
We begin tonight with the dramatic end to the terrorist manhunt in France. Police tracked the two suspects to a printing factory where they held one hostage. After unsuccessful negotiations, the authorities launched a raid. Explosions and gunfire were heard as security forces stormed the building and killed the suspects. They were believed to have gunned down 12 people at a satirical newspaper in Paris. Nearly simultaneously, police stormed a kosher market in the city of Vincennes and killed a suspect associated with the two brothers. Officials believe he shot and killed a police officer before seizing the market and taking hostages. Authorities reportedly freed the one hostage held by the brothers, but at least 4 hostages died and 5 injured in the supermarket standoff. France's President François Hollande spoke to the nation.
France is not finished with this threat, and so I want to call on you for vigilance, unity, and mobilization. Vigilance is first for the state to demonstrate. So together with the Prime Minister, I have reinforced even more measures to protect public places and to ensure that we can live peacefully without at any time being threatened or at risk. But we must be vigilant.
In addition to the 3 men killed, authorities are reportedly searching for a woman they believe participated in the police shooting. They say she's armed and dangerous. We'll have more on that story in just a moment. Here in the U.S., it was yet another day of freezing temperatures throughout a large portion of the country. Many areas were 10 to 15 degrees below normal. Daytime temperatures struggled to get above freezing in places unaccustomed to wintry weather. Black ice covered many roadways, making travel treacherous. A massive pileup in Michigan ended with at least 1 death. Officials say many others were injured. Meteorologists predict that the cold weather will continue until early next week. Turning overseas, the World Health Organization said 2 leading Ebola vaccines will soon be tested on the front lines. Liberia is expected to start trials by the end of January, while Sierra Leone and Guinea will start in mid-February. The pharmaceutical companies GlaxoSmithKline and Merck are manufacturing the vaccines. Also in the news, search teams believe they detected pings from the wreckage of the Air Asia Flight 8501. The signal may be coming from the aircraft's flight recorders, which could have dislodged from the tail section. And violence is escalating in eastern Ukraine. Pro-Russian separatists are intensifying their shelling of government positions. At least 6 Ukrainian troops died over the last 2 days. Officials there say this spike in attacks followed the arrival of a Russian aid convoy. Returning now to our top story, we turn to Arise News special correspondent John Cookson, who is reporting for us from Paris. John, what's the mood tonight after the killing of 3 of the 4 suspects in this terrorist attack?
Hey, Debbie, good evening from Paris. Well, first of all, there's still shock, I have to say, from the events on Wednesday when 12 people were murdered at the satirical magazine. And then we have these 2 deadly sieges today involving the Kouachi brothers in a siege near the international airport, which, as you say, ended with their deaths, but the hostage was released there. And then this second siege at a kosher supermarket where women were shopping for the Jewish Sabbath, and a gunman and his girlfriend burst in and held them hostage for several hours. Ayman Kulabadi, the main gunman there, and an associate of the Kouachi brothers, was shot dead by police marksmen. But his girlfriend, as you mentioned earlier, Bayat Boumadiene, she's 26, a radicalized Muslim, is still on the run in Paris tonight. So there's some concern as to what her actions might be. But overall, there's some relief that these 2 sieges are over. But a cautious note on that, Debbie, that the French people are very concerned that attacks like these will continue. And in fact, the French President Hollande warned about that today. Debbie?
John, has the security level of alert been changed since these 3 suspects were killed?
No, France is on the highest state of alert possible at the moment for fear of further attacks. I have to tell you, on a personal level, or, on the streets, one is very aware of extra police in uniforms, and no doubt there are covert forces also dotted around the capital, because this threat from Muslim extremists, radicalized young Muslims who've traveled from France to countries like Iraq and Syria and returned. This threat from these youngsters who have been radicalized is very real, and we've seen evidence of that in the last 48 hours in this country.
There was confusion all day long here in the U.S. about how many of the hostages were injured or killed in this operation. I know now it's been confirmed that 4 of the hostages that were taken at the market were killed. Is there any information, John, on how they were killed? Were they killed in the raid taking down the suspect, or killed by the suspect himself?
It's not been officially announced yet, Debbie, but unofficially police are saying they were shot by the gunman and his girlfriend. And I can tell you that that update on hostages freed is about 15. We think 15 freed tonight, so that's good news for them. But there are 4 others who've been seriously hurt and are in a critical condition, so that death toll may rise yet still.
All right, John Cookson reporting for us from Paris, France. John, thank you very much.